Hedgehog Hollow. Today I'm following along with the Global Design Project and I have a really simple but effective card for you. This is what I decided to do. I did a congratulations card because I've needed to send a few out recently. I'm going to show you how to do this really deep embossing on vellum to get a really nice antiqued, almost like a lacy effect. So let's get started. So here you can see a little bit more detail of that beautiful deep embossed on the vellum that I told you about. And what I'm going to do is show you how to do that element first. So I have used the hexagonal ultra thick embossing folder, which is slightly thicker than normal. So when you do your sandwich, rather than having your normal embossing sandwich of your thick piece and then 2 cutting mats, you just put your thick piece, then this, and then your other cutting mat straight on the top. So you take away that second cutting mat. So I pre-cut all my vellum into quarter sheets of the Stampin' Up vellum pieces. So I pre-done that anyway. You just pop that inside of there, run that through your Big Shot, and you'll come out with a piece that looks like this. So you get that lovely texture, and because it's ultra thick, if I bring this up to the camera, you can see where it goes through, it goes a white colour, so it actually looks more like gems, I think, than the nailed it sweet that it goes with. So that's that piece for you. And then I have a half sheet, currently A4, but you can use the 8.5 by 11 too, and this is in crumb cake. And then this is how I do my layering. So I lay it on like this, and this is the cheapest way to layer. And then I just put a little pencil or biro mark where I want to cut. Now my tip to you would be to emboss, deep emboss before you cut, because your paper may kind of get bent out of shape slightly, or it may go slightly smaller when you put it through the ultra thick embossing folder. So my tip there is to cut your sheet into a quarter, which will be card front size, and then trim it down afterwards. So I'm just going to trim those 2 pieces off. And again, I will link up to all the items I use, including your cutting instructions and all of the things like my cutters and things. I love that cutter. It's one you'll have seen me use plenty of times before. Now all we have to do on here is stick this onto our card front. And when I'm using vellum, I tend to use glue dots. It's the best solution I've found so far. So I'm just going to pick up 1 on each corner. And I'm just working my way around. 3 and 4. And I'm going to open out my card because I find that gives me the best layering. And you just stick that down, and 4 glue dots is absolutely plenty to stick that down. And then we're going to work on our elements. So I turn my card this way, and what I did was I cut out from the lots of labels here, and I used these 2 here, so you can see. So not the biggest one, it's the next one in and the next one in again. So I cut both of those out of smoky slate. And then what I did was, I'm going to grab my paper trimmer back again, I cut the top off because the GDP sketch used this shape, which I really liked. And I thought, well, what have I got that's got a shape like this? And I found my framelets. So all I did was I cut them out as normal. And then you can see here, I just trimmed that top piece off so that they've got a nice flat thing. So when I layer them up, you will see they'll look like that. So it's nice and easy. And then the next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to move this to the side. I have a small piece here, one of my scraps of the shimmery white. You could use regular white, but I just wanted that little bit of shimmer. And I'm just going to put over my embossing buddy. And I have my copper embossing powder and my embossing trays. Again, I'll link those up because I know you do ask for them. And I'm going to use the Here's to Cheer. This is carried over from the Occasions catalogue, Here's to Cheers. And I'm going to stamp this out in Versamark. And as I'm going to punch it out, it doesn't matter where I stamp it. And then I'm going to use my copper embossing powder. Give it a nice tap. Make sure I've got good coverage everywhere I want it. And the great thing about these is they've got this little corner on, so I can just go in, and then what I use my embossing buddy to pick up all those last little bits and to tip them back into my tray. And put that to the side. I'm just going to heat emboss this. I've got my embossing tool just to the side of me. So just go over this. And this is the copper embossing powder. I thought it's a nice manly colour. Yeah. There we go, and it starts to cook. Make sure I get the top panel. There we go. So that is your embossing done. And then I use the 2-inch circle punch. And you could use your framelits if you just have the layering circles. It will do exactly the same thing. And I punched out around my Celebrate, like so. Okay, so now we can actually assemble our card. I told you it was a nice, quick, easy one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my snail. And I'm just going to run a couple of pieces down the front here. And I'm going to layer my the top of my tag with the top of my vellum here. And I'm going to stick that down. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Celebration ribbon. So this ribbon you get two. You get a silver and a gold. And it is, I believe, free with a $50 purchase over Celebration. So that's through the end of March 2017. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knot it so it doesn't move on me. Like so. And then we're going to tie our bow. And if you have trouble tying bows, we do have a YouTube video. Just have a look for it to how to tie the perfect bow. And my biggest tip is to have a pair of ribbon scissors. These are currently on sale as I make this video on Amazon. So again, I will give you a link if you haven't got any. I use these purely for ribbon. I've had them about 5 years and they're still incredibly sharp. They're embroidery snips from Ginger, who I think make the best sewing scissors. And then I'm going to use some foam dots on the back of my smaller tag piece, like so. And again, I'm going to layer this at the same at the top here. And that gives me that nice detail at the bottom here. So it doesn't, I'm just going to pop another dot under there. There we go, so that doesn't sink down. And then again, I'm going to use some more dots to stick on my Celebrate here. So again, I'm just going to put a few around here. And we're going to stick that on the top. And that is it. That is your completed card. Super, super easy. Particularly, I think this ultra thick embossing on the vellum comes out absolutely beautifully and gives you that lovely detail. So you really don't need anything more on your card. So thanks for following along today and thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out the blog post link below. That'll give you all your cutting instructions and a supply list for anything that you've seen that you think you need to have.